They say some footage ain't meant to be seen, that it's cursed, like a mirror in a haunted house. Look too long, and you won't like what's looking back. This story, it came from the archives of a small town department in Nebraska. Real small town, the kind with more grain silos than stoplights. Place called Sparrow Ridge. Population under 1,000. One diner, one gas station, and a sheriff's office that doesn't see much more action than the occasional drunk or the odd meth head. But on the night of October 12, 2019, Cruiser Unit 666, yeah, they really gave it that number. Some smart-ass from the motor pool thought it was funny. Rolled out for what should have been a routine traffic stop. Officer Kyle Brenner, 34, 6 years on the job, clean record, married 2 kids. He never came home. What we know comes from the dashcam, or what's left of it. It started just after 2:17 a.m. Cruiser 666 is parked off Highway 34, lights off. Brenner radios in about a black sedan speeding and weaving between lanes. He flips on the siren, pulls the car over near mile marker 81. Now here's where it starts to get weird. The dashcam footage was recovered 2 days later from the cruiser, which was found abandoned, doors wide open, lights still flashing, engine stone cold dead. But the footage is like something out of a nightmare. The file shows the cruiser pulling up behind the sedan. You can see the taillights. You can see Brenner stepping out, walking toward the driver's side. And then the video. Glitches. The sedan vanishes. Just poof. Gone. No brake lights. No shadow. No tire marks. Just empty black road under the strobing red and blue. Then the audio kicks in. Static at first. Like an old television trying to grab a signal. Then something else. Something off. A voice. No, not a voice. Voice is low, layered, like a choir whispering backwards. One of the texts said it sounded like Latin, but twisted, like it didn't belong in this world. Then came the laughter. God, that laughter. High-pitched and metallic, almost digital, like a modem screaming in pain. It goes on for 36 seconds. And then, on the footage, you see something crawl onto the hood of the cruiser. It's blurry at first, like it doesn't want to be seen clearly. All you can make out is this black shape, long limbs bent at impossible angles, head cocked too far to one side. Its eyes, if you can call them that, glow red for exactly one frame. Just one, but that's all it takes to burn it into your memory. Then it smiles and leans in, staring into the lens. The whole dash cam begins to shudder, like the cruiser itself is shaking. Then the screen turns white, not black, white, and stays that way for over an hour until the battery dies. No trace of Officer Brenner was ever found. No blood, no signs of a struggle, no footprints, no tire tracks. The cruiser's engine, fried, like something cooked it from the inside. Worst part? The dashcam footage only plays on one computer in the whole station. Every time they try to copy it, external drive, cloud, even analog tape, it either wiped the file clean or corrupted the device completely. Some rookie made the mistake of watching it alone one night. Poor bastard quit the force 3 days later. Said something about hearing the laughter in his dreams. They decommissioned Cruiser 666 after that. Had it scrapped and buried in the junkyard outside of town. But folks around Sparrow Ridge swear, if you drive down Highway 34, near mile marker 81, between 2 and 3 a.m., your radio might start to hiss. And if you're real unlucky, you'll see the flashing lights in your rear view. But there won't be no car behind you. Just static. And something crawling toward you on the hood. You ever work a graveyard shift in a place that just feels wrong? Not haunted exactly. No flickering lights or slamming doors. Just a quiet, thick kind of wrong. Like the air itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to move. That was the old county jail in Dunsmore, Indiana. Shut down now, boarded up for years. But I was there when it was still running. 2013. Night duty. I was young, fresh off training. Thought I could handle anything. I couldn't. They gave me the overnight rotation, Tuesdays through Saturdays, midnight to 8 a.m. Small place, 6 cells, 1 drunk tank, and 1 isolation room we called Cell 4. The inmates called it the Screamer's Cell, but nobody told me why. They just told me not to ask questions. I should have asked. It was early November, cold enough for your breath to fog. I remember, because the heat was busted in half the building, including the isolation block. Cell 4 was freezing, always was, like stepping into a walk-in freezer, even in summer. That night, they brought in a guy named Ray Moreno, arrested for assault, but he was just off. Not drunk, not high, just gone. Like his soul had already packed up and left. Eyes glazed over, skin pale, and he wouldn't stop humming. Some tuneless little thing, over and over, like a broken lullaby. They stuck him in Cell 4. And that's when the screaming started. It wasn't immediate. He was quiet at first. But around 3:10 a.m., it started. I remember the exact time. Because the monitor cracked, literally cracked, when the audio peaked. One long piercing shriek that didn't sound like it came from a man. It was wet, high, like metal tearing underwater. Then the banging started, so violent the steel door shook in its frame. I watched it all from the control room. Black and white feed, grainy as hell, but you could see him. Moreno flailing on the floor like he was fighting invisible chains. His back arching unnaturally, bones popping, mouth open too wide, like his jaw had dislocated. And then, the feed glitched, froze on one frame, then looped 7 seconds over and over again. In the loop, the cell was empty, but full of shadows, not shapes you could name. Just dark smudges in the corners moving. The worst part? On each loop, they got closer to the camera, closer to the door. I should have stayed put, should have called it in. But I was stupid, young. I grabbed my keys and went down the corridor yelling his name. The screaming stopped the second I turned the key. Silence. I opened the door. Any booze? It was empty. No Moreno. No blood. No signs of a struggle. Just that same freezing cold, biting through my uniform, like I'd stepped outside in the snow. I took a step in. Just one. The shadows in the corner didn't move. They breathed. I swear on my life I heard them breathing. Slow, rattling inhales, like something massive, with lungs full of dust. Then my radio crackled. Static first, then my own voice. My voice, screaming. Screaming just like Moreno had. I don't remember running. Just remember waking up in the control room, nose bleeding, hands shaking. The clock said 7:48 a.m. I wasn't alone. I watched the playback, over and over. Me opening the door, me stepping inside, and then nothing. Just static. They found the cell locked, lights off, Moreno gone, and no trace of me entering on the final loop. Just one frame. Me, staring back at the camera, smiling. They shut the jail down 2 weeks later. Said it was mold, structural damage, some BS reason. But no one talks about cell 4 anymore, except me. And sometimes, at 3:10 a.m., I still hear the screaming in my head, looping, just 7 seconds, over and over. And the shadows, they're always closer. There's a reason they don't talk about Unit 13 anymore. Not in briefings, not in the station. Hell, they don't even acknowledge it on the dispatch logs, like it never existed. But it did. I've seen it, heard it, and I still wake up shaken from what I found inside that cruiser. This was back in 2016. I was with Hollow Creek PD, a rural little department out in the Appalachian edge of Kentucky. Quiet place mostly. Deer crossings, the occasional bar brawl, nothing too strange. Until the night the radio screamed. It was just after 2 a.m. I was mid-shift, alone in the squad car, heading down County Road 9 when I got the call. Static first, then a voice. Unit 13 requesting immediate backup. Repeat, backup now. I can't. Then a scream. Short, sharp, like something had grabbed the guy mid-sentence and ripped him away. But here's the thing. Unit 13 had been decommissioned 10 years earlier, totaled in a landslide back in 2006. Driver died on site. Patrol car buried and never recovered. And yet, the voice was live. Fresh. It didn't sound like a recording. I radioed dispatch, asked if someone was playing a prank. They went silent. Long enough to make my stomach twist. Then the operator came back, whispering like she didn't want to be heard. We don't have a Unit 13 anymore. Officer Briggs, please return to base. I didn't. I followed the signal. My cruiser's GPS picked up a ping. Something broadcasting from deep in the woods past Miller's Quarry, where the land just dies. Trees there don't grow straight. Animals avoid it. Even birds don't sing. But I went anyway. Dumb, brave. Or maybe something in the voice pulled me in. It sounded familiar, like someone I used to know. The deeper I drove, the more my radio hissed. I kept hearing that same scream, over and over, like it was stuck in a loop. And then, out of nowhere, my headlights hit something. There it was, Unit 13, half buried in vines, rusted from hood to trunk, paint peeled, windows shattered, and yet the engine was still humming, a soft, living kind of purr, like a heartbeat. I stepped out, body cam rolling. The footage still exists, locked in evidence, but I've seen it. Me walking toward the cruiser, my breath fogging in the summer air, the radio on my chest crackling violently as I leaned in. That's when I heard it, breathing, from inside the car. Heavy, wet gasps, like someone choking but still alive. I reached for the driver's side door, and it opened, just like that. The interior was pristine, clean leather, shining dash, like it hadn't aged a day. Except for one thing, the rearview mirror was shattered, and someone had written on the windshield from the inside. It never left. My flashlight flickered. Something moved in the back seat. Just a shape, tall, wrong, shoulders too wide, head too long. I couldn't breathe, couldn't move. And then, the radio screamed again. Only this time it was my voice. Screaming, begging for help. I slammed the door shut and ran. Didn't stop till I hit the main road. When I looked back, there was nothing behind me. Unit 13 was gone. I filed a report, showed them the footage. They pulled me off duty for mental exhaustion. The footage, labeled corrupted. But I know what I saw. Now here's the worst part. 2 nights ago, 7 years later, my radio turned on by itself. And through the static, I heard me. screaming again. Same words, same terror. Only this time, it ended with a whisper. It never left.